let's begin looking at the Civil War, and particularly today we'll look at the first battle of Fort Sumter and the fallout from it. Civil War, 1861 to 1865, a time of great tragedy for our country, but also an opportunity for our country to rebuild itself and make itself better than ever, and an opportunity for heroes, both famous and unfamous, to step up and serve in ways that we have not seen before. After Lincoln is inaugurated as president, the country is in a great standoff between the South, which has seceded, and the North, which says they need to stay. Gradually and slowly, the Southerners began taking over federal forts and ports and properties in the South. One of the last properties to hold out was Fort Sumter, which was guarding Charleston Harbor. Built to protect from British boats invading from sea, it was not equipped well to defend itself from a land attack because that was always assumed that would be friendly territory. South Carolina demands that the federal government, the United States government, hand it over. Lincoln refuses, sends a ship to resupply it. Kind of takes the middle road. He doesn't bring more soldiers or weapons, but just food and supplies for the soldiers and weapons that are there. The Confederates in South Carolina shoot at the ship and make it turn around. Again, demand that the fort be surrendered. And when it is not surrendered, they begin to fire on it. Fort Sumter is a very strong fort in the middle of Charleston Harbor, well built, and it withstands the cannon and artillery fire very well. But you can see it's in very poor position as the Confederates attack it from all sides from land, and able to keep the Star of the West, who was supposed to resupply it, from entering to resupply it. And so really after 34 hours of cannon fire, artillery fire, from all kinds of different locations such as the ones you see here, the fort is uninhabitable, out of ammunition, and the soldiers are tired and hungry, and so they surrender. So in the Battle of Fort Sumter, the Confederates win. Actually, no one died, and the people of Charleston enjoyed watching it. I don't think the people really knew how serious the war was going to become. But the Battle of Fort Sumter is a Confederate victory in the first battle of the Civil War. Now the pressure is on Abraham Lincoln, who is perhaps our greatest American. Of course, he grew up here in Spencer County in Indiana. We take pride in that. He was a hard-working, humble servant who was able to make others feel like equals to him, but still be a firm leader and make strong, tough decisions and stand his ground in times when he needed to. Lincoln's greatest goal was to keep the country together, and before the Civil War, he did everything in his power to do that. During the Civil War, he did everything he could to win the war and bring the country back together that way. After the Civil War, he did everything in his power to heal the country, progress past slavery, and heal the wounds from before. Lincoln's response to Fort Sumter is a strong one. He realized that war has begun, and he calls for each state to bring in thousands of militiamen to guard Washington, D.C. and prepare for battle. He demanded that each state provide these soldiers, and if they did not, they would be considered an enemy. So the states had to choose. Virginia, North Carolina, Arkansas, Tennessee will secede and join the previous states that seceded before that, and they choose to join the Confederacy. Border states of Delaware, Kentucky, Maryland, Missouri, all slaveholding states, do not join the Confederacy, but do not send soldiers either. So they basically ignore President Lincoln's pleas for help. So this will put the U.S. in a tough position of how to deal with these states. But now the sides are drawn, the country is divided, and the ferocity and number of battles is going to pick up very shortly as our country falls into an all-out devastating war. But as we progress through that, we will find ways to rebuild our country eventually and make it better than ever.